Hello, welcome to Communication TV, everyone. I am your host, Ellie Parvin, the communication expert, university professor, owner of ellieparvin.com, and creator of Speak Live Online. And you are joining us today with an incredible guest. And if you think she looks familiar, it is because, yes, she is an actress, but she is an actress turned entrepreneur, and I cannot wait to tell you more about our guest today and introduce her to you. But first, let me go
Thank
ahead
you.
and share with you. Thanks, Kellsie. They, that's her name, Kellsie.
Hi.
So, one of the things that I think is so powerful is that we need to be doing live videos as entrepreneurs. How do you make a squeak in a fast moving social media expanding world? As an entrepreneur, even not just as an entrepreneur, but even if you're, I would say, an individual in your own company, and if you have that fear of doing video and you're not sure how you come across on video, well, Kellsie has all the experience in her space to make that happen for you. And she is more than just an actress. She's an on camera expert for purpose driven entrepreneurs who help, and she helps them look and feel great on camera. She helps her clients just craft their unique message so they can be powerful and authentic and connect with their audiences through video. And as I mentioned, she's more than just a talented actress. She's an actress turned entrepreneur, a coach, and I dare you not to smile when you watch her Instagram stories or even watching her today. Her
Oh,
smile is totally infectious.
thank you.
And without further ado, I just can't wait. I got to introduce my wonderful guest today, Kellsie Moore. Welcome to the show, Kellsie.
Wow. That was like the nicest introduction ever, Ellie. Thank you so much. I'm completely honored and I just so appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's no joke. There are days that I did not want to post an IG story, and I
Yeah.
watched your story, and it inspired me to get my whatever looking face on there and do a story.
Yes.
You totally inspired me.
Oh, God, thank you. That's like the whole purpose and point of doing all the things and showing up and the effort of it. So that actually means so much. I just got a text from one of my girlfriends who was like, she's out running errands today. She's like, I love hopping on and watching your IG story. She goes, they make me so happy. And I was like, that was like the nicest text message ever because it can really feel one-sided sometimes where you're like, am I just talking about stuff or showing up here for myself? Because then if that's the case, I'm not going to do it and I don't want
Right.
to. It's way
Right.
too vulnerable and time consuming and hard. And we have to go through all of the emotions and the things and the stress of it. So when you can have those moments of that feedback of knowing that it made an impact to somebody else in some way, hold on to that, screenshot it, acknowledge it, honor that, and remind yourself of it in those moments when you're like, I don't want to show up. Know that somebody is watching and it's not just bots on Instagram. There
What
are
a
real
great
people.
idea. What a great,
Mhm.
and and now that you say that, I want to come back to that. But first, I would love for you to just introduce yourself to our audience, share just a little bit more about your journey. Y- and I don't usually go this far back because you're definitely transitioning, but you're still a working actress.
Yeah.
I've seen your stories.
Yeah.
But when did you know, like, if you could just share in that journey, when you knew you wanted to be an actress? Like, what was the moment?
Oh, so I do not get asked that question very often, actually. So this is really fun. I often get asked kind of what started into the entrepreneurial shift, but not like what made you kind of start acting. And I mean, really, it's like when you're a kid and you write down all the things that you want to be, and it's like I want to be a fireman, I want to be an astronaut. Like I was like, I want to be president, and I want to be an actor. I was like, I guess like or you could do both really if you wanted to. But I loved acting so much as a kid, and all of it was theater at that time, and it was just I was such an avid reader, And so, with that wild, vivid, creative imagination, you'd go out and, live out and play out your stories. And so when theater came into my life, even as a child, it was like, this is like real life playing out the stories in my mind.
Wow.
And it was so much fun. And it just like the most exuberant, exciting way to express life and the things that we like thought and felt inside was through this active storytelling. And then as growing up in high school and college, we did every school project that we could, we would turn it into a film if that was an option. Anytime that it was like, you can either do a paper or a video, like do the video. And you need to remember, like, this is before smartphones. I got my first smartphone in college, and it was, I don't know, some old school version, like the very first rollout where that did not have the capabilities of what our phones have today. So it's a very different experience to like go out and create and make your own video. And I loved it so much, and like that feeling of coming alive on camera, but I never considered the possibility of actually pursuing it or really taking it seriously or stepping into that in a bigger way. It just sounded foolish. I'm like, I'm not pretty enough. I don't have the talents and the skills for this. I don't live in the right area. I was in Minnesota, and then now I'm in Colorado. It's like, none of this makes sense. That's not for me. And then I just kept making decisions like that with that sort of mindset of, this is for somebody else. That's not really for me. And it led me down the path of really taking the first job that was available to me after graduating college. And I chose my way into it. I did, while also falling into it, because I was an anthropologist by study in school, which people could also argue is an odd career choice thing to study. It's like, really, what work are you going to get from that? But I made the argument at the time where the anthropological mindset is really the original holistic mindset, where you look at everything and culture and people as a whole, and it's all about paradigm shifting. And so that intrigued me. I was really excited by that. And I love the idea of ethnographic studies, where you get to really learn about people different than you in a different time, in a different culture. And at that time, I was also in the leadership honors group at school, and they were looking for volunteers for a correctional program. So I'm like this adventure seeker who likes ethnographic studies, who's going in for a volunteering position. And I started volunteering my time as a teacher in an adult male correctional facility.
Wow.
And then when I graduated college, I was like, I swear this all loops back around. It all comes into important pieces, because we see how these flagship milestones and monumental decisions really help shape our lives, and the way we decide to choose out of them to continue to grow from it. And so I graduated from school, and it was like right in the time of the recession. And I was like, I don't particularly want to go build a career in corrections, but I just finished this like whole internship process there, and they were hiring in Denver. It's like, I want to live in Denver. So I took this job. So my first career out of college was as a teacher in an adult male correctional facility. And then, I was
Oh
there.
my goodness.
Yeah. Most people don't expect that. And this is really, I spent about 2 years teaching, and then I switched to about a year and a half of being a case manager, where I would fully run the lives of these adult male felons, every aspect of their finances, their jobs, their family relationships, everything. Talk about learning to be a coach.
Oh my goodness. And talk about developing resilience.
Yes.
Because this is not a place where
That's
you're a
21.
beautiful woman.
Thank you.
You're a young, beautiful woman, educated.
Mm.
I can't even, I have a friend who works in not teaching, but in a correctional facility. And they say, like, you have to build a thick skin.
You do. And most people,
they say things.
oh yeah, you wouldn't
Wow.
believe some of the things I've been told. But I basically shut down my personality, my smile, my light, my sparkle for years. I just closed that right up. Like, you fully learn how to harden that, because that's like your safety and your protection and your defense mechanism. I also gained like 50 pounds. It was like a physical protection, our bodies take
Right.
that on. And
Right.
it's like, once we learn and decide that we can be safe, with losing that, uh, it sort of helps your mindset allow to shift into that, to like, oh, well, I actually don't need this extra cushion on me as a safety barrier. But subconsciously, all those things kind of come into play. And it really brought me into a super dark place. And most people build up that reptilian thick skin you can't get anything through, and they end up living very angry lives, whether you're on the inside, working for them, or whether you're inside the program as not by choice, by
Right.
court mandated. And so what happened that like shifted everything for me is, I had this one night where I had an extremely belligerent client bust into my office, and he had just come out of like 22-year prison sentence and was rehabilitating into life. And uh, his meds got mixed up down at the pharmacy, and something happened at work. Actually, I think he was fired for throwing something at an employee. And anyway, he was extremely irate, burst in my office, screaming at me, everything's my fault. He needs to get out of here. It's never going to happen. And he just starts like shaking my desk. And we're in this our facility was an old tuberculosis hospital, and there's a window behind me that rain is literally dripping into. It's about 9 p.m. It's dark. I'm the only person that's staff in this entire hallway of all of their rooms. So it's me and like 30
Oh my
clients.
gosh.
And it was like that snap of awareness of like, this is stupid. Why am I here? I don't want to be here for the next 30 years of my life and make this my career. And why? I see how I chose my way into this, but I also really just kind of was like, I guess I should go down this route because it's the easiest option presented to me. And it helped make me make that switch of like, stop choosing just what's easy just because you should do it, or you think you're supposed to do it, or you think that's like the right thing to do. And as soon as we de-escalated the situation and he left, I started writing out a list of the things that made me happy. And I was like, travel. I miss feeling connected to my husband. We got married young out of college, and I love him. And I feel like I haven't seen him in 6 months. I was like, I want a puppy. I was like, I've always wanted a dog. Now I post Leo on my stories all the time.
Right.
And I wrote down acting. I was like, my God, it used to like light my soul on fire. I loved it. I don't do anything remotely close to any of this stuff anymore. I'm not doing anything fun or adventurous or playful. It's all so damn serious and hard and gross all the time. And so that night I started Googling adult acting. I was like, careful with these phrases, Kellsie. Like, adult acting in Colorado. I was like, yeah. I mean, I was like,
You
I don't
must
know
be
what to
18
search
or over
for.
to enter this
Yes.
site.
I was like, I'm like, how do I search? I'm on my work computer too. I was like, I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know how to start looking for this. Like, how do I get into this at 24, 25 years old in such a tertiary market? And I started just finding the right websites, and I just started clicking stuff and saying yes to like everything that sounded exciting. And 2 weeks later, I went in for an audition for this independent film. And it was like a 3-page long audition. It had screaming and crying and so many extreme emotions. And I was like, this sounds awesome. I went in, I booked it. And the next 6 months, it was like every single weekend we were filming. I lost 50 pounds. I got so on fire for life, so excited about things, discovered what mindset was. I had no idea what personal development was. I didn't know podcasts existed. I didn't know there were people out there teaching things that were helpful for like decision making. And I had no idea about really what possibilities were out there until I decided to start looking. And then suddenly, what do you know? And that's really what started not just my acting career, but everything with personal development. I started my business as a personal development coach after going through like the next 3 years of this journey. And then everything digital marketing, learning how to be an entrepreneur, how to build a business online, everything from that moment on for the next 5 years, poured all of my soul into it.
That's amazing. What a journey. What a journey. I had no idea about you working at the correctional
Oh,
facilities.
yeah.
That's as a teacher. That's incredible. But I can see how you would go into uh, be interested in anthropology
Yeah.
because I feel actors oftentimes they everything is a character study and a
Yes.
cultural study.
Yep.
And when you start to understand other cultures and other characters, I think that's where we almost get a little bit of a touch or taste into mindset because you see how these
Mhm.
different characters and cultures live.
Mhm.
And it's that maybe that was your very early entry that just kind of hung
I
out in the back of your
so
mind,
agree.
which is why you're
Yeah.
so drawn to the whole mindset.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like it's all there and all the interest peaks. So like pay attention to those clues in your life where it's like
Yeah.
what are the things that pique your curiosity? Because that's the stuff that wraps into your purpose and to the thing that you get really passionate about. Yeah. It's like
I
tune
love
into those.
that.
Don't ignore them or think, well, I can't make a career out of that. Oh, that's not a real thing. I probably shouldn't go waste my time and my money and my energy on this. Right.
That breaks my heart when I hear people say
Oh,
that.
oh, it's crushing. That's why, I mean,
It's
that is
crushing.
why my like my full message of why I teach how to be on camera, it's not for video marketing. Like, yes, that's a great benefit, but that reteaching of ingraining the worthiness and the deserving into the self that you are worthy of the space of showing up and being visible and actually being true to who you are and yourself and letting your soul shine through a lens so it can actually be shared to more people than you can ever possibly reach in person. That is the power, that is the magic, that is the purpose, that is the reason, like saying yes to who it is that you really are and allowing yourself to show up and be visible, be seen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons I was so drawn to you when we met.
Mm.
We, well, not just that. I didn't know that, but I just felt something. For those of you that don't know, Kellsie and I met at Business by Design. I was thinking of James and Kellsie at
Yeah,
Business by
yeah.
Design. That's why I
His
said that.
wife is Kellsie.
So his wife
Yeah,
is Chelsea.
yeah.
They have this event, and their team put on this event every year, sometimes a couple times a year.
It's
Business by
fantastic.
Design Live. It's amazing.
Mhm.
You know, many of my guests have been here on this show, but Kellsie, I came in and I sat right. You were right next to me, I think, on the left,
Yeah,
and
that's
Padma
right.
was on the right.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there, and I could just feel the energy of both of you.
Mhm.
And it's. Are you? Can I ask? Are you more leaning towards extrovert?
So I actually like this question, but I don't have a simple answer. I sit right at like the 49-51%.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. You must be close.
I'm like, so when I'm in the group in the moment, I can like really embrace the extroverted self, but
You need to
I
recharge.
need to recharge and
I'm
it
the
takes
same.
a lot of like ramp up for me to be able to get to the event.
Yeah.
It like I have to like convince myself over and over again for a chunk of time, and my husband has to help with this. I'm like, do I really need to go? He's like, yes, Kellsie, you really do need to go.
You need to go. Book
It's
your
always
flight.
amazing, but I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna be so tired. I'm gonna have to talk to people. Like, I'm like, I feel all the
I get
introverted
that way
things.
too.
Yeah,
I never used to go to dinners after
yeah,
events and until Business by
working
Design.
on
And
that.
then
Yeah,
all of a sudden, it was this rule I had because I needed to recharge at night
yeah,
so I could do the whole next day and get everything out of it. But
yeah.
then I realized, oh, I'm like, oh, I like these people way too much.
I
I
know
only get
you
to
just
see them
enjoy
once or
it.
twice a year.
Yeah, so I'm like, yes, okay, I'll
And I
commit
started, so I
fully
broke on
in.
that. I broke on
Mhm.
that. So Kellsie was at this event, and then there's just something about you. The second you
Mhm.
had this smile on your face already the whole time,
Yeah,
and many people have resting bee face,
yeah.
right? And you
I
know
like
that like
resting smile face.
because you're
Yeah.
sitting so long listening that
Mhm.
oftentimes, but you're like me at the event, just
Mhm. I'm like,
smiling and just your
yeah.
energy was like happy and positive, like you were very excited to be there.
Mhm.
And then I found out what you did and I thought, oh my gosh, you and I so much want we do things in it, we do different parts of it, but we
Yeah.
want to achieve that same mission, is
Yes.
that people get out there and they learn to feel comfortable
Mhm.
being their self. I want them to be comfortable communicating their message
Yes.
in by improving their communication skills, because I feel
Yeah.
like people often feel, oh, I use filler words, oh, that, you know, I don't, what if my mind goes blank? I
Yeah.
help them improve their communication so they feel confident when they speak,
I love
and
that.
you help them with messaging, how to be comfortable and confident on camera,
Hmm.
and how to delve into the mindset you need to
Yes.
overcome those fears. Like, what is really the cause of these
Yes.
fears, and what processes we can do from holding them back? And that it's just, I'm like, ooh, this is the perfect marriage. I have
I
to have
know.
her on the
It's great.
show.
I'm so glad. I was
So
like,
I
it's
just
perfect.
love that. And
Yeah.
now, obviously, you did business by design. Are there other programs or things you have done to, like, what, when did you decide you wanted to have, because you've been a coach for quite some time now, what made you decide to move this to sort of an online group platform?
Yeah. So interesting. So really what started, I think, the shift into truly the like camera coaching, training your presence and your performance through a lens and honing in that messaging and being able to share that was maybe like 10 months ago. I mean, it was more recent
Wow.
because I really built everything, the foundation of what I have as a personal development coach. And I was like, I'm hiding. I am hiding in my own life. I'm hiding in my business. And I was like, I'm not showing up as the real and full me. And it's making me angry and it's making me sad. And I don't want to do this anymore. And usually we create the thing that solves the problem that we have. And, as
I love
coaches,
that. You said usually we create the thing that solves the problem that we have.
yep.
And I want to pause on that for a moment, because you've worked on mindset, you've
Hmm.
gone through the coaching. I'm so sorry to interrupt your flow,
Oh, no,
but
that's
I
okay.
really want anybody watching this, that's watching live or in the rebroadcast, to remember that phrase, because so many of us do this on the regular basis and we don't share it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, what Kelsey's doing, which is why I want you to listen to what when she continues here, what she's doing, what her mission is to help people get confident, get comfortable, and shine in the way that they should. And she knows, she can see they can, so
Hmm.
they do share it.
Yep.
Is that exactly? So
Nailed
I
it.
apologize. Go, Kelsey.
I love it. Oh, yes.
I
Yes.
just, it just, like, you just hit my heart. Just, phew,
I love it when that happens. Oh, it makes me so happy though.
juicy.
Um, I mean, I was showing up as small as I possibly could. Like, oh, okay, I'm building a business, I'm coaching, I'm doing some things. I created this program with great information, all this stuff. And I was still hiding myself just so much. And really, I was like, that's where all the pain came from when I was in corrections. Like, it was from choosing to withhold your magic is painful. I mean, that just does not feel good. So when we can figure out how do we lock that into like harness, what your superpowers are, what your gifts are, what your magic is, that's what shapes your purpose, your messaging, why you show up for your business, how you get your business out there, how you do your marketing. That's what creates attraction marketing. Is because when you actually show up as you, then people are either like, oh, cool, she's not for me, or like, oh my God, yes, you just said the thing I've been waiting to hear. And so I had to step into that place of showing up to be that person for myself. And when I started doing that, it was just like everything just sort of clicked into place. And I was like, this is what I can help other people do. Because I know all of these soft and hard skills of on camera presence, of finding what your specific charisma on camera is. How can you shine through a lens? As an actor and as an acting coach that I've done here in Denver, it's like I can teach those. Those are skills that people can learn. And then it's all founded in that mindset of how it is that you're going to choose to show up and honor yourself and your vision and your message and your story.
Oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. And it sounds like a very broad thing, but at the same time, it's so poignant
Yeah.
because there are these little tips and tools and techniques that are just ingrained in you from your training
Yeah.
and your experience. And now, both of us, you and I, we both pay for education and training still
All the time.
all the
Constantly.
time. That's
I'm
that's
always
a
in a new course.
constant.
I have 2 coaches right now.
That's
Always.
awesome. I also have two coaches
Yeah.
for different
Always.
things. Actually,
Yeah.
two different things, but still that benefit our industry, what we do.
Right.
One of the things that I'm kind of my question for you is what was the first time you realized you were a coach? Just stepping back to
Mm.
that a little because I'm kind of curious on one little thing. The first time that you realized, oh, people are asking me questions, or oh, I just helped this person. Like, what was the first time you realized, oh, I'm a coach?
Interesting. Wow. Oh, Ellie, good questions. Like these people don't
Thank you.
ask me these a lot. No, this is no, it's so fun. I love it.
Everyone, I
And
sent her a list of questions.
yeah,
None of these were on those lists. So,
and I actually talk about that and like how to handle that in one of my video lessons inside my course, where it's like, especially if you're on live, I mean, this is live, but this is at least live online. It's like, especially if you're live on TV, where the pressure's like
oh
extra
yeah,
high, and you really feel it. But anyway, so I don't really believe in our minds going blank. I think that if you're present and you're tuned in,
yes,
we can absolutely have our slower speaking moments, which is good. Usually it helps ground us and pull us back. But the message that you need to share that somebody needs to hear will come through you. And like building in that trust that, yeah, you are the expert of what you're talking about. You know your stuff. You can just take that beat, take that breath, think about what you want to say, and then deliver it. And it will always like flow through you. So anyway, that was an
that's
aside.
very true. Same thing in the things I teach. That what a lot, even though it's people's biggest fear, the
Yeah.
truth, like you said, it's what will come through you will come through at that time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to take a breath
Yeah.
and repeat the last thing you said, and it will
Yes.
it's kind of like a reboot for the brain
Yeah.
because it puts it right back on the track.
I love that. Yeah.
And it
And like,
comes back
oh,
to you. That's to help with mind blanking. And then really what it is people are afraid they're going to blank out because
yeah.
one, they haven't prepared their talk yet. Two, they don't know what they're going to it is because currently their mind is it's still the unknown.
Yeah. And then they're out there thinking about the unknown thing instead of being here, like focused and present in that conversation. Yeah.
I
And then
love that.
I'm
So
always like,
what when was that first time that you felt
yeah.
that
So
you enlightened somebody?
I, it's interesting. The thing that's coming to mind, and this is, it's not, well, it's not necessarily accurate, but I was a tutor for like general studies when I was in, I think, 3rd grade. And I just remember the feeling of, oh my gosh, I can help say the same information that this person has heard before in a different way that's going to make them have a different response to it. And it's not a coaching situation. I was a child, 3rd grade, and it was tutoring, but I remember
Hey, third grade is
experiencing
hard.
it is, I probably can't do the homework now. Like I don't know what they cover. But I do. I just remember really that sensation of like being able to create a change and a difference for somebody else simply by like walking through the same steps in a different way. And ever since then, honestly, my entire life, I always been that friend that you go to when you need advice. And then throughout my personal development journey and my phases, I've really turned into that friend where it's like, you can't complain to me. But like if you have a question, I'm here to help. I'm
I'll walk you
happy.
through it.
Yes, we're gonna be doing reframing because and I understand like sometimes you really are just like I need to just like vent, just get this energy physically out of me,
Well,
like speak
sometimes you
it and
need to
have it be
hear
done.
it out loud.
Yeah.
So, especially the things that we feel like they have a lot of power over
Mm,
us,
mhm.
and you just need to hear it out loud, like
Yeah.
you actually verbalize it. Same thing with writing. It
Yeah,
it doesn't have the same power once it's out of your mind.
it doesn't. It's like you remove it so you can see it, and now it's something that's separate from you.
I
And
think that's what's so unique about and special about what you do and your community is that
thank you.
you create a safe space for people to practice and express and do this together. So one, they it doesn't feel as bad because they're not alone, and
Yeah.
other people feel the way they do, and they
Mhm.
have a good guide. You're kind of what I would uh, describe for doing video and on camera. If you go hike up in the Alps, right? You cannot go in certain areas of the Alps during certain times of the year without a skilled guide that actually knows the topography of the Alps
Yeah.
because they know where the crevasses are
Yep. You
and
need
they
your
can
Sherpa.
help you avoid the crevasses, check the snowpack to make sure you're not going to go down and
Exactly.
never be found. You're that person for on camera video. You're
Thank
that
you.
guide that can help them go around the bottomless pit
Yep.
of
Yep.
being on camera.
You're welcome to do it on your own. Let me tell
It's
you,
like,
it hurts when you fall down into
yeah,
that
or
pit.
the worst part is no one may ever see you again. I mean, in the
Oh,
crevasse, once you're gone, you're
it's
gone.
so
A lot
true
of times
though.
they can't get you. But it's I've seen people, they try to go on camera, they don't tell anyone, they bomb. I find out years later
I'm like,
they
oh, I
told
did
me
it
they
once.
tried, but it was horrible because of this and this happened, and they just
And
didn't
that's
want to
it.
go through that again and they stopped because they didn't have somebody to support them
That's exactly right.
or
Like
share
reach
that with.
down their hand and pull you out and say, like, okay, cool. So here's what we can do now.
And to tell
Like
them, that happened to me
to me,
too.
yeah.
And look now,
Like,
you
and it's
will
fine.
survive.
Yes. That's exactly right. That is such a perfect and like elegant way to say it.
Thank you. It's just that's
Yeah.
how I see you. So you're my little mountain guide. Not little, actually. What am I saying? Little. You're much taller than me. That's
I
ridiculous.
know. Oh, it's so
It's
and it's
like,
so fun. That's one of those things like you when you get to know somebody online and then you meet them in person and everyone's shorter than I think they'll be. Everyone.
oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so good to
I'm
hear because
5'7".
often people say they say, "Oh, before camera." People will
Yeah.
tell me, well, now on camera, they still tell me they think I look taller, but before camera, I used to hear, "Oh, I pictured you more blonde."
Interesting.
And I'm like,
Like, okay. What is that?
I don't know what that means, but more
Mm-mm.
blonde. I know I'm kind of bubbly. I have this tendency to be, at least especially back then, I had the higher vocal tone and the
Mm,
very, very bubbly thing. I was,
mm.
I don't know, I was in sales and PR and communications, and it's, you want to communicate well. And there's actually a little, a known fact that high pitched sounds, even though they're not considered uh, professional, a high pitched sound for a stranger, it gets them to trust you right away because it's a
Feel
higher,
safer.
yeah, it's safer. Whereas a lower, deeper volume, people are not sure yet because you're very strong. You could be, this is just biological, you
It almost
could
feels like you're in
be an
trouble.
enemy.
Yeah.
I might have to fight you. And it's not that they're afraid of you. It's just that that's the biological feeling that the stronger your voice is, the deeper it is, the more potential of you being a foe. Whereas the higher the voice, the softer the voice, the less chance of you being an aggressor and people just feel safe around you. Well,
Hmm.
in the job roles I've had in my life and how I grew up, that's been my role. So
Mm.
so I had to learn to change that to deepen my voice, and that took practice and time and training, and You know that is Bradley says hi. Hi Bradley.
Hi, Bradley.
He's tuning in from Facebook. How are you? Thanks for joining us live. We are with our actress and video on camera expert, Kellsie Moore, for those of you just tuning in. And now, Kellsie, is there any little fun fact about you that most people don't know that you would want to share just for fun?
Ah, yeah, I feel like so many. What would you want to know? Uh,
Well, the
and actually,
correctional facility, working as a
what
teacher at the
else?
correctional facility for young
Yeah.
boys. Oh, and by the way, just a side
No,
note,
adult men.
Brad is actually tuning in from Sydney, Australia.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
that's awesome.
wonderful.
I love Sydney. It
I've
is
never been.
fantastic. Okay, you need to put Australia on your list.
It's on the list. It is
It is
definitely
on
on
the
the list.
list.
Yes.
I know my heart goes out to everybody over there with the fires. I'm still in disbelief. But either way, the people are incredible.
That's what I hear all the time.
They're
And every Aussie
so
I've ever met,
kind.
they're like the coolest, nicest people. And every time we go on a trip, we meet people from Australia. Like, no matter
They're
what country
because
we're
they
in,
travel the world.
all the time. And I love that sort of adventurous, explorative, growth oriented type person. And I feel like that's really embedded in the Australian culture. And I think it's awesome. And I can't wait to go there.
I know. Totally add that to the list because the people there are incredible. We're just sharing that with you, Brad.
Brad, thank you. Thanks
As
for being
I
Australian.
completely side railed for Kellsie to share her fun fact, just something that most people don't know about you that you'd want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just have one thought, though, to wrap up on what we were talking about with the voice level, uh, if that's okay, if I can jump in with that
Yeah,
first.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So sometimes, as almost a, I'm going to blend in and fit in with this group or this community, especially if it's a group of women, will speak at a higher voice, and it will go higher pitched because it's like, hey, see, now I sound like you, and we're more relatable, and if you're doing that too much, I mean, because there's definitely a part of that that's like normal, that's part of that like community building, and it's completely fine. But if it's
It's
too much of,
audible. It's called audible mirroring
yes,
in communication.
and mirroring is good, it's building rapport. But if you're showing up like that when it's solo, like when it's just you, too often, one, it can make people feel like they're your friend because like you're talking to your girlfriends, but two, it can also start to provide an inauthentic vibe where people aren't going to feel like, are you really being real with me right now? And so finding like, where is that balance in that mix for you to use some of your, what I train is like your isms, the little things that you do that come out just as special as your personality,
Yeah.
and then having those vocal inflections and intonations and a different cadence and pitch and tone and everything kind of based on what you're doing, but finding the balance and the mix of that. But I like relating it to the way that we speak to dogs or to babies. When we want them to trust us, we speak in that higher tone. We use big eyes, we use big smiles, and we show palms. Because
Yeah.
it's like when you're talking to adults, if you do too much of this, it's really scary, and you're like, you look weird. And like if you're like this all the time on camera.
No, I know.
But when you have those moments of that sort of expressive brightness and you light up and you open eyes, mouth, and hands, and then speaking in a higher voice, and it does immediately build that like comfort level where, oh, this person's not a threat, they're not gonna uh, tell me something mean, they're not gonna sell me on something, sometimes
Right,
we're
right.
cautiously online, and it's a one way to help build safety, but it has to be grounded. It absolutely must be connected with like who your authentic personality is, or the phoniness of it is going to be perceived as a threat
Right.
exponentially.
Right. Especially if you're like that all the time and it doesn't vary. It really
Yeah,
does depend, like you said, on the situation. If it's a new group of people, and it depends how long you're spending time with that group of
yeah,
people, and it is one of those things that you as we especially as we get older and we learn how to develop relationships and build relationships,
yeah,
and we build our cultural intelligence as well, we start to learn how to vary that tone, and not in a forced way, in a very natural way, because we just start to treat other people how we like to be treated.
Yeah.
And then when we look at other cultures, I always try to adapt
Yeah.
to other people's cultures. I'm not going to shake somebody's hand in Japan or China, because I know that that's not comfortable for them.
Hmm.
I want to adapt to their comfort level,
Yeah.
because for me that shows I care about your space
Yeah.
and your communication style. Now, one of the things I notice is that with the expanding social media and using video, it it does draw people in from all over the world.
Yes. So you have a
Even though we have
lot
different
of cultures.
communication
Yeah.
styles, I think when we use that balance like you're suggesting, then we have the ability to connect with other cultures
Yeah. And
and people.
and to some extent there's going to be people from everywhere and anywhere that, and this is what's so great when you're true to honing in your message and your energy and your personality and able to share that, is that it creates that polarization naturally, where some people are going to be so drawn to that and it won't matter where they're from. And then you're going to have people who are your neighbors who are like, I can't stand this. I can't, like, I just can't. This person's not for me.
That is okay.
And
That's
it's
that
so
you
it's
we are
good.
one person is not for everybody.
And we can't be. We don't want to be. You'd be exhausted.
You
It's
you
like,
just can't be. It
no.
would be too much. And
Mhm.
it it's not meant that way. That's just
No,
that's why some people live in the suburbs and some people live in the city.
exactly. That's a great depiction of it. Like,
That's wonderful. Well, I want to honor everybody viewing their time. I want to honor your time, Kellsie. If you could just please
you
share
want to do
where
one?
is a great. It's just been so wonderful having you. But before we close
Oh,
up,
thank
there's
you.
two things I want to go over. One is, where can people follow you and find you, and what do you have coming next?
Awesome. So I feel badly when I don't answer a question. So one random fact I'll just share.
Okay, you're getting back to it. Okay, I
I
wasn't sure if you
know.
were circling around.
I feel badly if I leave a question hanging, and then it'll like bug me. I'm currently bow staff training, so bet you didn't know that.
What?
Bow staff training, so training in how to use and fight with a bow staff.
What?
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's so unique. There's a niche?
Yeah, I mean it's part of the martial arts community, and I've trained in like Krav Maga and stuff and kickboxing for years, and
Oh, that's awesome.
I have a buddy who's just great at bow staff, and I was like, I want to hit stuff with sticks. This sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So it's fun.
That's a great fun fact.
Okay,
And now
cool.
I want to look in to see if there's something where I can do a train.
Yeah, it's
Because
so
that sounds
fun. It
fun.
really is. It really is.
I did Aikido for a couple, like 2 or 3 years, but I didn't stick with it because you can't train by yourself.
Mm,
You always need to have another person, because
yeah.
it's never about you. It's always about the other person's energy.
Hmm.
So you can't train and practice by yourself. It always has to be with someone.
Yeah. Which
So unless you have
and
time to go to a place every day.
right, right. I'm not very good because we don't do it very often. Well, every couple of weeks we meet up and we'll do a training session. But that's definitely one of those you can't do it by yourself.
Well,
I
I think it's okay that you don't have to be good. Nobody
yeah,
starts good,
yeah. But it's
right?
fun.
What is it? The saying is that if you do a little every day, a little becomes a lot.
Oh, I love that. That's so applicable to video, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
Mm-hmm.
just
Video, that's definitely so. Speaking of which, segueing into,
yeah.
where can people find you? What do you have coming next? Please spill the details.
So actually, I have something I'm extraordinarily proud of and very excited about. I have a free video series being released right now. So this is the entrepreneur's on-camera cure to know how do we finally show up on video? What do we talk about? What do we do? Start narrowing down the platforms. And that's going to lead into an amazing offer for my Captivate on Camera course, which is a very interactive program that really holds that safe space of accountability and support and training and guidance. And we will take you all the way up the mountain. I will be your Sherpa. And I love that. I love that. I'm using it. And I hang out most of the time on Instagram. That's usually where I live. So please come say hi over there. I'm at Kellsie_Moore. You'll notice my name is spelled funny, but it's on the screen so you can see it. And yeah, please come say hi, DM me, and let's get you into this video series. It's a training I want everyone to take. You don't want to miss this.
So do you want them to follow you at Kellsie_Moore or at what was I going to say? At the Be Marvelous You?
Nope. So Kellsie_Moore is I've updated everything actually to be under my
Oh,
name. Yes.
oh,
So
awesome.
my
So the
website is still bemarvelousyou.com or kelseymoore.com. Both now work. Yeah. I'm
Oh, I'm so glad
really
you got your
owning.
own name. That's hard to
Yeah,
get.
it is. I'm like, the funny spelling is finally paid off.
Yay! That's what I thought when I was because Kelsey usually has the Y at the end,
Hmm.
and I'm a big fan of the IE at the end anyway,
Yes.
or the
Yeah.
and not because it has something to do. And she also has so a link to sign up for the video series is
Yes.
that this link right
Yes.
here, the camera video
Perfect.
series link, so you guys can type that into your banner. I'll also include it in the notes for the show below and in my email as well. I, Kelsey, so one thing I always close with my wonderful guests is because I just am obsessed with communication. So I'd love to ask you, how do you define communication and what does it mean to you?
And you did prep me on this question too, so thank you for that. And even so, I, it's odd. I have maybe a bizarre answer to this. My, I'll keep this as short as I can, I promise. My dad is the director of the School of Communication at a university. And so communication as a word, particularly, and words hold power. We give them, we assign them meaning. So really, when I hear communication, I hear family. And I don't know how applicable that is to many people,
That's
but
beautiful.
that's really what's associated to me. It was a conversation that we had. And ironically, there was a lot of any of the scarier, harder talks we were not good at communicating on. That was something we all learned when we became adults, that we learned to step
Wow.
into that together.
Wow.
But the power and the importance of communication and what it means to be able to speak your true meaning, that was something that was always instilled in us. And my dad particularly used that to really empower his three daughters our entire life with always communicate your message and know that it's worthwhile.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful,
Yeah,
Kelsey.
thanks.
And that's something that I think not only I connect with and agree with, but our viewers watching the broadcast or the rebroadcast will connect with as well. That's so powerful,
Awesome.
so beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today,
Yay.
Kelsey. It's just such an honor to have you as a guest on the show.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in. As always, I want to wish you communication for success, health, and happiness. Ciao for now.